afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Reema Tendulkar. With me is Sonal Bhutra. Tuesday afternoon, the time is 1:30 p.m. and these are the headlines. Midcaps underperform large pairs even as the market hovers near the day's low.
Shilpa Medicare jumps on getting a US FDA nod for its psoriatic arthritis drug, while a technology license pact with Mitsubishi for electrolytes lifts Neogen Chemicals.
IRB Infra gains on healthy growth in toll collection last month. Kalpataru powers up on a 3,100 crore worth of order wins from March to April.
ABB skids after analysts turn negative on the stock. Kotak Equities downgrades it to reduce from buy, believes margin expansion will be hard to sustain. Okay, those are the top headlines that we are tracking for you, all the mid-caps that are in focus as well. Let's quickly take a look at what the markets are doing. It's the 7th consecutive day of gains that we are seeing on the Nifty today. 66 points higher right now. We did see some fall from the highs, but still, it is managing to be in the green with decent gains right now. And it's really the Bank Nifty which is powering through. So we have the Bank Nifty sitting with gains of 480 points right now. It's outperforming the benchmarks with gains of 1.1%. Mid-cap side of things also looking decent. Largely in line, 63 points higher there, and the advance decline ratio in favor of the advances. Hey, Reema.
Hi, it's just the sell-off in the IT stocks,
Yes.
right? Can't take my eyes away from that. The Nifty IT index is now down 1.5%. In the morning, the Nifty IT index was flat, just down about 0.1, 0.2%, while the rest of the indices were moving up. But come 11 o'clock, the sell-off began in the IT names, and it's not stopped just now. Individual names, in fact, the top 5 Nifty losers are all the IT names. Infi, TCS, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra, Wipro. These are the top 5 Nifty losers right now. So it's quite staggering ahead of earnings how positions are being trimmed in the IT names. But we'll welcome Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak Securities now for a technical check on the markets. Shrikant, markets are powering ahead, inching towards 17,700. Come off a bit from the day's high, but still, it's a healthy day of trade. And markets are moving up despite IT slipping in trade. Thoughts on the day so far?
Yeah, good afternoon. I think, the markets are very clearly heading upward, and most of the time, whenever we are seeing some resistance, it is falling lesser than the expectations, and again, it is bouncing back. So the similar sort of trend that we are witnessing for even other indices, but in that, Bank Nifty was down yesterday. Today, because of some specific news flow in some stocks, we saw a higher opening, and now again, it is leading, and maybe that's the reason IT index is down. I think till the announcement of quarterly numbers from the IT companies, we are going to see subdued sort of activity from IT companies. But yes, there are few companies which are really good, and we should look for adding them in the current decline. But for the index, I think markets are heading upward, and it is going to cross the level of 17,800. So we should be buyer if there is any correction during the day close to 17,650 or 600 levels. We are expecting Nifty to cross the levels of 17,800, and for the Bank Nifty, the important level is around 41,550, 600.
Okay, all right, Shrikant. So that's on the index. Of course, we are seeing some sell-off from the highs, but still continues to be a decent day of trade. Tell us about your individual technical picks in that case.
In the first half today, we are seeing some activity in.
Oh. Okay, looks like there is an issue with the connection out there, but we'll try to reconnect. For now, we'll go across to Vivek. He's standing on the big wall with all the mid-cap movers that we are tracking today. Vivek.
Well, thank you so much for that. Quite a few stocks in the mid-cap universe are clearly outperforming. Some strong moves seen there on good volumes as well. First on our list, Apollo Pipes. After a while, this particular stock was up almost 8% in today's trading session. Copra and 2 higher, very good volumes today, almost 6.5%. Trident on the back of a strong operational update, up almost 6% in the session. Now moving on, some stocks that continue to do well. Paris Defense, technical breakout seen here. Star Health also continues its momentum that it's being seen from the start of this particular week, and News and Software managing to shrug off the worries in the broad cap IT space. This particular stock up almost 4.5% in the session today. Some stocks that we're tracking on the back of very strong volume action, almost 5 to 10 times the typical 5-day, 10-day average. First on our list, V-Mart Retail, up almost 3.5% on very good volumes today. With these specialty foods, we don't discuss this much often, but very strong volumes today. And Kalpataru Power, good order wins coming in and good volume action too on the stock. On the other hand, some of the stocks that are seeing a bit of a sell-off, Rossari Bio was a clear outperformer in yesterday's session. Today is cooling off a little bit. Welspun Enterprises too down almost 6%. MCX today after a while seeing almost a 2.5% dip. And Graphite India too down almost 2.4% in the session today.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We managed to reconnect with Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak. Shrikant, you were telling us your index trades as well as individual stock ideas that you would recommend now.
Yeah, I think in the first half of today's trading, we are seeing good amount of activity in almost all metal companies. Tata Steel, JSW Steel, NMDC, all are doing really well. And in that space, we are specifically bullish on NMDC, which is currently trading around 112, 113. There we are expecting stock to move towards the levels of at least 120, 122 in the near term. So it's a buy at current levels, NMDC, with a stop loss somewhere close to 105. And the other stock which we like is Tata Steel, because there also we saw good amount of buying pressure and it was consistently under selling pressure around 104, 105. But currently, if we see the stock price, then it is comfortably trading above the mark of 105. From here, the stock can easily move to the levels of 112. So Tata Steel is also on the buying side with a stop loss around 103.
Okay, all right, Shrikant, thank you so much for joining us. So that's a technical check on the markets. We'll do one thing, slip into a short break. When we return, we'll connect with the managements of Insecticides India and Sharda Cropchem to discuss the latest monsoon forecast by the IMD and what is in store for agrochem players going forward. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. The big story, of course, is the fact that the Indian Meteorological Department has forecast a normal monsoon this year and expects the impact of El Nino to be seen in the second half of the season. Let's first listen into what the IMD officials said, and then we'll go across to the managements.
We come out with the statistics, and we result is about 96% of 87 centimeter will be there. Roughly about 83.5 centimeter rainfall will occur during June to September. So that's the first message. Of course, it contains, there are many factors why it is and other things. Some details will be given in the presentation. But this 83.5 centimeter rainfall is coming under the normal category. I am again repeating, out of 5 category, normal category, and it is roughly about what is called range and other things he will explain in detail. So I want to say once again that is a normal monsoon this year is expected.
And the topmost one is the El Nino conditions, which we are discussing on everyday basis. Now currently, if you remember, the La Nina conditions which were prevailing till February has entered into the neutral conditions. The neutral conditions over equatorial Pacific region. That means this is neither La Nina nor El Nino. It is a neutral condition. The latest climate models indicate that El Nino conditions are likely to develop during the monsoon season. But I want to mention here that the impact of El Nino may be felt during second half of the monsoon season. All the El Nino years are not bad monsoon years. I want to highlight here. There are about 60% of the El Nino years when, in the past, we have got normal rainfall or above normal rainfall.
Okay, that is a very crucial monsoon forecast. Yesterday, private agency SkyMet said monsoon is going to be below normal, but IMD today says that monsoon is going to be normal, but they keep the door open to watch for the possibility of El Nino in the second half of the monsoon season. But even if El Nino takes place, it's not always associated with deficient monsoon. But let's find out what the impact and what the situation on the ground is in the agrochemicals industry. Rajesh Agarwal, MD at Insecticides India, India, R.V. Bubna, CMD at Sharda Cropchem, now with us on the show now. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Mr. Agarwal, what has been the kind of offtake at the farmer and distributor level? Right now, no one knows how monsoon is going to play out, whether it's 94% or 96% of the long period average. But can you tell us the situation right now? Are you seeing continuous sales, or are farmers turning a bit cautious?
Here I would like to tell you, the percentage is immaterial. Is it 90%, 85%, 95% or 100% rainfall or 105%? It impacts, but to an extent. The timing is more important actually. That is the farmer receiving the rainfall at the time when he needs it, or it is coming at a time when he don't need it actually. Because India is a vast country. If we look at the states are also very, very vast. And in certain periods, you don't need a rainfall and the rainfall is coming and the water stagnates in the fields. So which leads to losses. So for quite some time, we have been hearing about these updates actually, which are regularly coming. I'm happy that today IMD has given a very positive outlook. So if we talk about the season is looking good. The recent rainfall which has happened and the hailstorms which has happened in the last 1 week, it has annoyed the farmers a little because the crop was standing and some farmers were harvesting the crops, and during the harvest period this has come, which impacts the I would say the crop the maximum, and farmer is of course going to suffer the loss because of this unwanted rainfall at a wrong timing. But it has a positive side also. The positive side is more water availability, good for the new sowing season. So I don't see any impact on the markets due to these announcements, because it is too early, and the sowing is going to take place in time, because as I told you that the wet conditions are prevailing, so good for the farmer. So immediately after this harvest, the new sowing is going to start in a big way, and I believe that Q1 for us is going to be very, very positive.
Okay. Mr. Bubna, I'll come to you in just a bit. A follow-up on this, Mr. Agarwal, because there were fears of El Nino, right? But now they're saying it could happen in the second half. Did dealers or distributors make changes at the inventory level to tackle with that? Or do you think now is when they might take some action, now that it's more on the positive side that we might get normal monsoons?
Madam, first of all, I would like to clarify that our business is mainly concentrating outside India. Our revenues out of business in India is almost less than 2%. But I've heard Mr. Agarwal's statements very clearly, and it says that as of now, the demand of agrochemicals is very normal, and this is the trend I am seeing also globally. Most of our global markets, the demand is normal. I would say it is slightly better than the previous year.
And Mr. Bubna, what's driving this better demand this year versus last year?
Probably the farmers are more hopeful, and the weather forecast and indications are also very positive.
Okay, and how much better is your demand versus last year, say for Q1?
Yes, the demand versus last year is better this year. It's difficult to say in percentage-wise, but at least 10% better than last year.
Okay, so that is good to know. Mr. Agarwal, what I was trying to ask you is, when you say that demand is normal on the ground, but of course there was this fear of El Nino that could have happened, but now that we are talking about normal monsoon, do you think inventory levels were changed, or distributors kept stock at a certain level to ensure that they don't see any losses, so to say? Are things on ground absolutely normal?
We have to understand the cycle of a crop. In the initial stages, the network will start working for the herbicides because they are used immediately after the crop is sown. So I don't think that there is any decline in the sown area of the crops. So if there is no decline, then the 100% herbicide consumption, what is the usual consumption, is going to happen. So market is preparing for that. After that, some initial insecticides and fungicides are used actually. So there also I don't see much changes. And moreover, one positive side which has happened for the market is the international prices have corrected for the chemicals. So which means that relatively the prices are going to be more favorable for the market. So the tendency to buy, of course, is going to go up rather than a risk. So I see a good growth coming in the first quarter actually as a company. And if we look at the network's interest, yes, they are interested in the products. And since the product cycle changes with every season, because this is the beginning of the season, and now they will need a lot of, as I told you, herbicides, weedicides, and initial level granules and other products, actually insecticides. So everything will move at a good pace.
But Mr. Agrawal, because of the unseasonal rains that we saw recently, was there any impact on the yields production? Because that's what we have been talking about, right? Sugar prices are through the roof. You're talking about other cereals, mustard, so to say. That must have impacted yields in some way, right? Is that something that you're seeing?
Yes, that impact is already there, because wherever there were hailstorms and fast winds, so the farmer has suffered, because some farmers were in the process of harvesting and some farmers had the crop was ready for harvesting. So at some places the harvesting is delayed, at some places the crop has fallen, which means that the yield will be lost. And at some places where they were harvesting, so there will be losses to the farmer. In totality, will be difficult to give a number, but there can be a loss from 5 to 10% actually in the total yield, because farmer was quite happy. This year the Rabi crops were relatively pest free and the yield looked good. The area was good. But yes, at the end, this 5 to 10% loss has occurred.
So this 5 to 10% loss due to the unseasonal rain and hailstorm will reflect in Q4, right? In the Jan to March quarter.
Actually, that will not reflect in the company's results, because that sale had already happened. And this is the harvest period. So during the harvest, yes, farmer will get a hit in the total yield of the crops. But as the price has improved, maybe in his total economic viability, that impact will be negligible or not there.
Okay. Mr. Bubna, since we have you with us and you do have a lot of international exposure, we spoke about what's happening in India as far as weather and monsoon forecasts are concerned. What's happening globally as far as weather conditions are concerned, and especially in Europe, because that was facing some headwinds, at least on the currency side, and the Latin American region as well because of weather?
Madam, overall, there is not a big talk about any adverse effect of the weather. In some small locations, there could be some weather upsets, but normally this is not affecting the demand, and we are getting regular inquiries and demands from our normal customers, and they are not talking about any adverse effect of the weather on their business or their requirements or their demands.
Okay, all right. So no issues so far as demand is concerned. What for you, Mr. Agrawal? How is the export market doing? Because last time you had told us that there could be some pressure there.
Yes, actually, the demand for this year looks good. Last year in the Q1, we were relatively slow because the prices were going up and the currencies were down. So a big impact. But now I feel the world has learned and people are raising demand. So we see a reasonable growth, though our quantum of export business is little low, which contributes about 5 to 6% of our total turnover. But this year we have a target of almost doubling our total export business. So I believe that the results will be reflected from Q1 itself.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. That's a comprehensive analysis of the agrochemicals industries, both domestically and internationally. Get into a break. On the other side, our very special segment, Midcap Spotlight. Welcome back. Let's get to our segment, Midcap Spotlight. Surbhi is here joining in to focus on Trident. Surbhi, how was the business update?
Hi, thanks for that. So today the spotlight is on Trident. Now the company released its monthly production numbers yesterday post-market, and the numbers looked pretty strong on a month-on-month basis. Now just to alert, the year-on-year comparison is not really possible because of a higher base last year. Now, in their home textiles division, the bath linen saw a growth of 7% on a monthly basis, the bed linen saw a growth of 13%, and yarn saw a growth of 15%. In their paper and chemical division, paper production was up 1% on a monthly basis, and chemical production was up 12%. Now, with the result season coming up, Motilal Oswal estimates that the company will see a revenue growth of 7% on a sequential basis, and that EBITDA and PAT will grow at 6% sequentially. Now, 60% of their revenues comes from bath and bed linen segment. Now, home textiles demand in the USA will be a key monitorable for the company. Additionally, how the overall order book is for the textiles division will also be a key thing to watch out for in the upcoming result season.
Okay, Surbhi, thank you very much for that. For the markets, we're holding up with a gain of about 0.5%. It's 17,700 on the Nifty. Banks continue to power ahead. Kotak Mahindra Bank continues to be the top gainer. Autos are now giving it company. Eicher Motors, Bajaj Auto, Maruti Suzuki moved to the high point. Buying has emerged in steel names, large cap steel names. So JSW Steel is up to 3.5%, and look at that up move in Tata Steel. Tata Steel has suddenly shot up close to about 1.5%. ITC is another mover in trade, and that's adding to the strength in the market. In fact, ITC is now at a fresh 52-week high. With that, we're going to wrap up on Midcap Radar, Mutual Fund Corner when we return.